True.
Good evening and welcome to the Vergne Planning Commission meeting. It is August 25th, 2026, and it is 6 p.m. I call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. First item is to approve the minutes from the June 30th regular meeting, the July 14th workshop, and the July 28th regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have public comment period. We have one person signed up, Miss Sarah Andre. If you please come up. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, friends. My name's Sarah Andre. I live at 809 Cheney Woods Drive. I'm here tonight to ask y'all to give this a non-favorable vote. I'm talking about the property off Old Nashville Highway in Sam Ridley, if you want to talk about it that way, Hill Point. I understand there's growth coming to Rutherford County, including Laverne, but adding over 600 high-density units to Old Nashville creates a severe infrastructure challenge that our city is simply not ready to handle. I want to highlight three major reasons why this development should be unfavorable to BOMA. First, our roads can't handle this traffic. Old Nashville Highway is fundamentally a narrow two-lane road that already faces heavy commuter bottlenecks. Adding additional almost 530 apartments and 90 townhomes, you will inject well over, I like Mark, Matt, whoever used to sit right there's math, about 1,200 additional homes. That's putting two people in each little unit with a car onto this narrow corridor daily. I understand they want to widen the road. We all understand what's going on there. They don't own the property to the right of them. And also, I drive this road daily. I come off of Cheney. I take a right onto Old Nashville to get my kids to Thurman Francis. So I've been very noticeable where Laverne starts and where Laverne ends and Smyrna starts. And there's a good bit of property in Smyrna that is still two-lane. It does not break open until a two-lane with a left turning hand lane there. So I'd be curious what they're going to do with 5 lanes going back into 2. It's going to create a massive bottleneck right there. So, doing that is you're just adding more safety risks to that road. We've already had someone killed on that road. We know kids are walking on that road for school. I hope we understand how much more additional traffic you're asking to put on that road. Second, our schools can't handle it. We've talked about this. Laverne High is at 120% already with their new addition. We all know that the Rutherford County School Board does not love Laverne. They're not helping us, and we know that. So I encourage you to remember, they say it's not going to be as much kids, but with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, there's going to be kids. With a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single mom and kid. We're going to add to the problem that already exists. Don't continue it. And third, perhaps the most importantly, if you drove like I asked you to, you see the congestion. You also see to the left in Smyrna, we have over 1,000 apartments going up right there. It's called the Vintage. The demand for this is not needed right now. If it was, we could have a different conversation. But the demand is not needed. Our infrastructure, my other big thing about this is when I was up here before for an R3, agriculture to R3, we really talked about rezoning property where we couldn't demand that they do things. And one of the concerns of the aldermen was that we rezone without knowing. If we rezone this, we can't go back. We can't go back. So I beg you to push this on to BOMA as non-favorable. I know how BOMA feels right now about some R3, so I hope you support that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to old business. Item 3 has been withdrawn. Item 4 has been withdrawn. Item 5 has been deferred. And then moving on to item number 6, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, rezoning of property requested by Hill Point, 50.65 acres, property located on Old Nashville Highway, tax map 28, parcel 14. Current zoning district is R2, mixed residential zoning district. Proposed zoning district is R3, high-density residential zoning district. Property owned by Sanjay D. Patel. Mr. Logan.
Thank you. So on the screen now you can see the property that comprises the Hill Point proposal down here to the south. This is Laverne High School, very close to the development. Of course, this is Academy Way at the south, between the high school and the property, and then the west is Summit Lane as it meets back with Cheney Boulevard, which is this intersection right here. And then, of course, Old Nashville Highway is the frontage to the north and east. And the zoning map, it's currently R2. Here where I'm pointing, the darker red, the pink is for the commercial strip on the front, which was zoned commercial for many years. And then with the new zoning, it just transferred to the different designation, but still the same uses. So now it's neighborhood commercial district, which is the pink color. And of course, this proposal is only for the red. They're not proposing to rezone the NCD. They're only proposing to rezone the R2. And on the screen, you can see some photos. These are from Old Nashville Highway. And then moving in, I've used this slide each month that we've covered this item. So I'll show this one. But they're proposing 15 buildings. In those 15 buildings would be 90 townhomes and 528 apartments. So you can see what they're proposing with this slide. Again, the site plan phase is coming down the road, so it may not look exactly like this, but this is what they have submitted. And of course here, the entrance drive goes through that commercial area that I mentioned, and then there's a roundabout shown that they would build. So the zoning in this area, there's a lot of R2, of course there's the NCD, and then there's R1 properties across the road as well. So let's move to some of these architectural elevations. And this is straight zoning. The request is for straight zoning to R3. So there's nothing binding in the architectural elevations, but they did submit them as a courtesy. So here those elevations are. So you get an idea of some of the projects that they've built in the past. There are, of course, you all know by now, you've seen this several times this summer, but they've got requests for variances for the parking, but that's not part of the rezoning, so that would come later at the site plan stage as well. And then here's just the regular architectural elevations. The previous one was more of a rendering, but these are the elevations that they submitted. So yeah, in summary, about 618 units, and only 90 of those are townhomes. The remaining would be apartments. So that completes the report. There's no other comments left, so we'll be glad to answer questions.
Mr. Lytle, do you have anything?
No, sir. All the comments I have are not for action. They're for information only, and I read them into the record at the workshop, and the developer agreed to them all.
Okay. Do we have a representative for this project? Name and address for the record, please.
Marcus Wiedauer, 8830 Macon Highway, Athens, Georgia. I'll keep it brief. I know we've talked a lot about this, but just a couple of things real quick. One, as I've said before, and I'll go on record again, we cannot and will not build a single apartment if we cannot extend and widen this road. I understand that we do not currently personally own or under contract for any of that property. We haven't begun that. We wanted to make sure that we got to a point where we could actually speak to it intelligently when we were approaching the neighbors. So, again, just want to put that on the record that we are agreeing to extend and widen that road, and we cannot build a single apartment without it.
And for clarification, the widening they are agreeing to is a 2-lane widening with a turn lane. So Ms. Andre mentioned a 5-lane widening. This one's 2 lanes to city standards, then with a turn lane into their development.
As well as sidewalks.
Yeah, the sidewalks, yes.
That's right. There will be a traffic light at the entrance as well. We will also, through the reduction of some townhouses, adjusting some grading, we have made it possible to not have to move forward with a variance on parking. We will meet the 2.2 parking. I know that was a question at length that we talked about, so I wanted to update you there as well. Really, we have traffic analysis. We got people behind me that would love to answer any question that you guys have, but I think we've answered a ton, but are welcome to answer any others that you have.
Does anyone have any questions?
Just the road widening is from your property all the way to the Smyrna line, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And last month, there was discussion about the parking ratios. So you've now increased that to.
I don't know if the exact number is 2.2 or if it's 2.1. I mean 2.21 or
2.37 because the 2.2 control was had to be up because the requirement is 1.1 per bedroom, so it's 2.37 overall.
Ms. Logan, does that now meet the requirement for the city?
Well, I haven't looked at that because I don't think that was resubmitted.
It's on. I checked in the agenda packet, so it's page 142 of the agenda packet. It looks like it got added to the.
Okay, so we have to go through the whole site plan stage. So they're going to have to meet it at site plan.
yeah.
I mean, it's not really talked about in the rezoning phase because it's not binding.
I understand, but it was the question that was brought up last month by a couple of members and obviously
Yeah.
affected how things went.
And
They would meet it if they're doing what they say they're doing. It's just the
And I
site
want-
plan is what's going to make it concrete.
I just wanted to commit to that publicly.
Jim? Justin? Y'all got questions? Jim? With the mentioning that the parking space ratio has changed, has anything changed with the number of units for either apartments or townhomes?
The townhomes we dropped 6 units to accommodate.
So is that 84 then?
That's correct.
A lot of nodding heads at once. So 84 townhomes. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Need a motion for a favorable or unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Make a motion to make a favorable recommendation to the mayor and alderman.
Have a motion for a favorable. Is there a second? I'll make a second. Any other discussion?
I guess were there neighborhood meetings held, and what was that discussion? I guess I'd like to know a little bit more about that.
Yes, sir. We hold, I believe, 2 neighborhood meetings. A lot of it revolved around blasting. Some of it talked about interconnectivity of our project to the neighborhood and some concerns over there. I stated last month at the workshop as well, that's really, we're not driving that. If the city wants there to be interconnectivity, we're happy to accommodate that. If there wants to be, some way to not connect through pedestrian traffic, we're acceptable to that as well. Again, a lot of it was blasting related, some stormwater questions, which we addressed. We did have one individual reach out to us via email. We answered her questions as well. I think, again, not necessarily everybody's going to like it, but we have answered all questions and had is a lot of public outreach.
Well, the only thing I'll ask is just, again, the only road improvements are from the entrance to the development towards Smyrna or Sam Ridley, widening 2 lanes.
So we're actually, not just the entrance, but the entire frontage of our property to Smyrna. And it is it's really a 3-lane road. So there's center turn lane, or suicide lane, if you will, like a turn lane down the center, as well as sidewalks down each side.
Thank you.
You can come up to the podium.
Yeah, sorry.
Name and address for the record, please.
So Will Rutherford, 2903 Poplar Street, Doraville, Georgia. I just wanted to point out as well that we're following the city's road design that they put together, I don't know if it was a year or two ago, for this exact piece of the road. And the concerns about Smyrna as well. We've been in contact with people at the city that are, they understand it's happening. They're happy to work with us. So we won't, at least hope not, run into the issue where the road will be widened and then have to get narrow again once we cross over the Smyrna line.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I have a motion for favorable recommendation. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
That motion fails. Open back up for a new motion.
Say motion for an unfavorable recommendation.
Okay, I have a motion for an unfavorable recommendation from Mr. Hessman.
I'll second.
Second from Justin. Any other discussion?
I guess I'm concerned with, the amount of traffic that will be on that road. And it's already a heavily trafficked, and I think that's my biggest concern. So I'd like to hear from other counterpoint on that. That's what I got to say.
Okay. Any other discussion?
My concern is the traffic as well. I used to live over there. There's the intersection that is towards Laverne there. It is not a good intersection, and this being about the rezoning to an R3, it's just too many vehicles. The traffic increases too much going that way towards Laverne. I appreciate that the discussion about the road improvements headed towards Smyrna. I think it's a good proposal, but I'm concerned with the other way.
Bless you. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. I have a motion for an unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This is to
Send an unfavorable. Yes. Okay.
No.
Opposed? That motion passes. Moving on to number 7, site plan, Enterprise Boulevard Retail Center, new building on 8,108 square feet on 0.93 acres, property located on Enterprise Boulevard, tax map 17-0, Group A, parcel 6.
Mayor, there's some confusion, it looks like.
I just want, just a clarity on what the vote is just occurred.
The vote was for an unfavorable recommendation, so it still goes on to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It just goes on as an unfavorable recommendation from Planning Commission. So going back, site plan, Enterprise Boulevard Retail Center, new building of 8,108 square feet on 0.93 acres, property located on Enterprise Boulevard, tax map 17-0, Group A, parcel 6, Gateway District, zoning district, requested by Huddleston Steel Incorporated, property owned by Natvar Patel. Mr. Logan.
So this is a request for site plan approval. This is the Enterprise Boulevard Retail Center, and this building would be a new retail building, and it's located on Enterprise Boulevard. And you can see here, this is the location where I'm pointing. So this is just north of I-24. This is I-24 cutting to the bottom of that image. So the building they're proposing would be 8,108 square feet. And zooming in, you can see Enterprise Boulevard is a cul-de-sac. So this is almost on that cul-de-sac. And this is the existing Waffle House just to the south of this lot. And the zoning map, this parcel and all of Enterprise Boulevard is now zoned Gateway District, which is the blue color, and then heavier industrial is the purple to the northwest. And here's some photos taken from Enterprise Boulevard. Another photo there. So it's a flat lot. Looks like it was graded possibly a long time ago. You could see the Waffle House there. And And then moving on to the site plan. So this is the main page of the site plan that shows the layout. So you can see they're proposing 5 separate units that would make up the building, and again, it's 8,108 square feet. The parking meets the city requirements, and you can see the traffic flow around the building is now 2-way, except for the rear of the building, and of course that is a fire lane, and it's marked as such in the back. And the cars that are stacked here, you probably remember I've said this a couple months, but it's not parking. Those are actually shown for a drive-through queue. If one of the tenants wanted to have a drive-through, they could. So parking meets the city's requirements, as I mentioned, and the dumpsters at this top right corner, the dumpster enclosure. And I think that covers everything. They've already worked out the other department's comments since I think this is their 3rd month here. So that completes the report. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Do we know if the fire department's issues were all resolved?
Yes, sir. We've talked to Fire Marshal Brinkley. They're all resolved.
Okay. Do we have a representative for this project? Name and address for the record, please.
Neil Patel, 212 Kylie Court, Nolensville, Tennessee, 37135.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this project?
See, all the items have been addressed that were issued.
Okay.
Is there any items outstanding? Gary, no?
Sorry?
Any items outstanding?
No, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
We have a motion to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Hessman. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And then moving on to recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen rezoning of property requested by Equitable Property Company, LLC, approximately 110 acres, property located on and near Waldron and Blair Roads, tax map 32, parcels 3, 3.03, 3.04, 3.05, and tax map 29, parcels 36, 37, 40, 41, 41.1, and 41.02. Current zoning district is R1 zoning district and PDR. R3, proposed zoning district is PDR R3 zoning district with a base of R3. High-density residential. This property is owned by Twinning Station Partners, LLC. Mr. Logan.
Thanks. So this, on the screen here, you can see all of the properties of Twinnings, and I think everybody knows where it's at, but this is the ridge to the west, and then Arbor Ridge to the east. I'm glad they did not choose a ridge in their name so far, because that would be a lot. You can see here in the zoning map, the PDR is the zoning that they have. Several of these parcels have been zoned PDR for maybe 18 months, but the PDR is growing, and that's the main reason that it is back, or one of the main reasons that it keeps appearing at the Planning Commission, because every time they add property, they must, according to the city charter, they got to come back here. So anyway, here's some pictures of the property. Everybody's very familiar with this, I'm sure. This photo has some construction of the Blair West extension. So at the workshop 2 weeks ago, I went over some of this, but the red parcel, which is actually at the corner of what will be the Blair West extension and Walden Road, that's where one of the grocers, or the primary grocer, is supposed to be located. That parcel was formerly part of Arbor Ridge, but would become part of this PDR if this was adopted. So that red parcel is important, and that's one of the main changes from past iterations of this. And you can see on this image, so I mentioned the grocer parcel. There's another parcel that will possibly be added if this is all adopted, and that is what the developer's calling flex. They've got it called out here, and these 3 rectangles are hypothetical layouts for buildings in the future. And if you read in there, you can see they're proposing about 125,000 square feet of flex. The other highlight, so like the apartment parcel, which is what we kind of call it internally, it's unchanged with this phase or this iteration. The architectural is unchanged. It's the apartment parcels stayed the same. Some of the other residential parcels have changed, which I summarized in the report. And the one thing that's important to understand is the overall residential unit count. So at the initial stages, they had 614 dwelling units proposed. That was 614, and the second rendition grew to 877. Now this third iteration has 987. So we've gone 614 to 877 to 987, and that's on page 16 of the submittal that's in your packet from them. So the other proposals, of course, include 30,000 of office space, 142,000 square feet of retail space, and that's on those southerly parcels that are directly across from Arbor Ridge. And of course, there's property that has been included and is still shown here, property that would be for a new fire hall for the city of Laverne. In this submittal, they're showing about 2 acres. That would be, and I don't know the exact number. Gary or someone else may know the exact number, but it's roughly 2 acres in their PDR book. And so now that we've covered all the residential side and the 2 parcel changes, the flex uses were submitted. So none of these uses were here at the workshop. We got them around 3 to 4 days later. They came in. So that was a large change. So if you're wondering why it wasn't talked about at workshop, because it wasn't submitted for the mid-month workshop. So they did submit them after the workshop. So the flex space uses, there's roughly 40. I think there's 41. But that's what is on the screen now. And sort of hitting the highlights, and some of this was in the email that I sent last week to the full Planning Commission in my email, that at least 7 of those uses are light industrial or industrial, and currently the PDR language, the way the city has adopted it, only allows 6 uses, which is 4 different types of residential that include single family, duplex, multifamily, and I think it says multiplex. So 4 types of residential, and then allows civic uses such as a fire hall or a park or library. The 6th use is limited office and commercial. So there's no mention of light industrial in the current ordinance. There's no mention of the word industrial, and several of those uses don't fit in the commercial category. So that's the important sort of takeaway from some of this flex space. The outdoor storage, and I know it's been talked about, but the outdoor storage, the new ordinance does not allow any outdoor storage in any architectural overlay. So a person cannot even do outdoor storage today on Murfreesboro Road or Old Nashville Highway. So that stuck out pretty clearly, that it doesn't seem that it should be allowed in a PDR on another side of town if it's not even allowed. The city got rid of that on Murfreesboro Road and Waldron and Old Nashville, so that seemed like a large inconsistency. So those were some of the things that were discovered in the 41 uses. Some of the others go down to think it's called equipment sales, rental, and storage. I know they've got a firearms training, which seems fine as long as all that's indoors, indoor shooting range. That would be fine. There's other uses like office and storage, hybrid spaces, and a lot of the storage language is essentially warehousing, which again doesn't fit that limited office and limited commercial that's in the PDR rules. And then I know there was something said, one of the uses is for, let's see if I can find it, contractor. Yeah, flex commercial space, which is operational commercial space supporting product-based businesses, fulfillment operations, and commercial services, including automotive goods and automotive-related components. So the way it's written, it says no engine repair in parentheses, but it doesn't say anything about body work, painting, automobile painting. A lot of these things that the city has had to deal with for many years, and it just seems like that's a definite inconsistency with what a PDR calls for as the way it's written currently. And then there's the electric vehicle center. That's an interesting topic. And as some of you all, or all of you saw, that how to enforce that in the real world when there's several automotive service use requests and automotive repair requests and automotive painting requests on a daily basis that staff encounters and then has to address. That electric vehicle fit could just be easily abused to where you would have people that are trying to put gas-powered vehicles in there and try to tell the city staff or city officials that they're EV, and then you introduce the whole hybrid concept of a Toyota Camry that's hybrid. Where would we even classify that? I don't know how any of us could classify that, because it's both. So it just had a lot of difficulties. The 41 uses had a lot of difficulties. Not to say that some of them would not be allowed. Of course, retail, it mentions restaurants are allowed. Those would be fine, but the others could be problematic. So that hits the highlights. I think that completes everything.
No, I've got a couple.
Oh, Mr. Lott has something.
All right, and we also have two outstanding engineering comments. The stormwater calculations that they submitted with the previous one have not been updated, or we haven't received it, and the traffic study that was previously submitted has not been updated, and the engineering department believes the changes are significant enough that we should see those updates.
Thank you. Do we have a representative for this project? Don't believe we do. I spoke with our economic development director earlier, and he said that the applicant had sent over after a meeting yesterday for deferral, but Mr. Logan, did you receive that at all?
I haven't seen it. I don't know if that was sent. Well, I looked at my inbox several times between 5 and 5:30, and I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, we've got a number of issues, so I would make a motion to defer this for now.
Second.
There's a second from Alderman Coates. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. That motion passes. Moving on to our favorite portion of the night, bonds and letters of credit, which she's going to take us line by line through each one.
Good evening, Commissioners. You should have the new and improved, larger bond list in front of you. Everything is up to date, and that's all I got.
Okay. Any questions about that? Seeing none, I will call this meeting adjourned.